awakening for you in one way or another. But Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, on a global stage, on the surface, has done well as a prime minister. He's represented Trinidad and Tobago across CARICOM and Africa, as well as at the United Nations. He's an educated, intelligent, sharp, black man who is an image of black excellence that can serve as a source of inspiration for many of our disenfranchised and misled black youth. And in that capacity, he has demonstrated magnificence. But on the inside, with the consequential decisions and actions made that have negatively affected the black community, it is questionable what his degree of success was. And with all of those factors preventing the African Bank from being established in Trinidad and Tobago when it's established all over the English-speaking Caribbean, preventing African businesses from getting direct loans, by overseeing the removal of close to 63,000 companies from the registry of companies through the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Legal Affairs. Many of these companies, black-owned, young African people who have come together to do construction and landscaping, painting, maintenance, have done work for the government, have not been paid, are being owed by the government, and then their companies are struck off. And then you destroyed the legacy of CLICO deliberately through a sensationalized press release scandal questioning the stability of that one African economic financial empire across the Caribbean. You publicly embarrassed it through your Ministry of Finance, which sent pain over those who were observing. Referring to calling Syrians the 1%, even though they called themselves that. You defended them in Marabella by saying that the Jewish Holocaust was man's greatest inhumanity to man, when we're African victims of the African Holocaust, which was hundreds of times worse than that. But you use that to defend the 1%. It's shocking. It's shameful. It should not have been done. And now, with all of that, making a white man without education the principal of UE over one of the most educated black men in the Caribbean, and then openly stating a policy of helping the rich to get richer and relying on them to create opportunities for the poor. This is painful, and adding insult to injury is taking, at a time like this, where a black man, first time ever, becomes head of government in Wales, black man born in Africa, Vaughan Getting, black woman becomes the head of the white party in England, Kemi Badenoch, leader of the Conservative Party, black man in the United Kingdom, David Lammy, Minister of Foreign Affairs, after campaigning for reparations for so long. Black president in America, Barack Obama, followed by a black vice president, black woman, Kamala Harris, who almost became the president. This is the time of the rise of black excellence in positions of political power. And in a nation of black people and our black youth, whose backs are against the wall, who feel as if society is against them, you take a Chinese man who has not demonstrated that kind of excellence, and you put him over, above, and in charge of all of these great black individuals within your cabinet. Something is wrong with that picture, and it's a disturbing pattern. I am of the view that the best person for Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago at this point would be someone who would have come up under former Prime Minister Patrick Manning, How many of his colleagues are there left in government currently? There are at least 3 or 4 of them who would have been understudies to Prime Minister Patrick Manning. How could you bypass those? To me, those should be the forerunners. Those should be the ones, the first choice. You have about 3 or 4 of them. And after those, then you can look at the seconds or thirds. But look at the optics at a time where all of these governments and countries and leaders and associations and movements all over the world are calling for reparations for the crimes against humanity. And all of these European governments in England, Portugal, Spain, France, the Netherlands, discussing reparations in their parliament. Are you going to send a Chinese man to represent the cause for African liberation and reparations around the world? And I know what some of you are saying about it's not about race. Well, if you're going to make a statement like that, it's a bit foolish for you. And I would link you saying that to those who said 10 years ago, just before Dr. Rowley became the leader of government in Trinidad and Tobago, those who were saying, oh, he's too black. That's your thinking being revitalized in 2025. If those are your thoughts, keep them. So, beloved family, I just wanted to share these thoughts with you. I pray that if I've said anything in error, that Allah will forgive me. But this is what is in my heart and my mind with sincerity. So